Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the most anticipated CCA League Division reveal here with season number 6. I am Vapor, joined with Neato, with Omazen in the back with production. How's it going, Neato? We are here, we are ready.
It's going great. I took my notes. I studied and for my entrance exams. I did well on all my pop quizzes, and I'm ready to show what I've got in the CCA League, along with the other 166 teams. A record, by the way, for the most teams we've had in the CCA League season.
Yeah, a record 166. We had 150 in the fall with the circuit as our total number count. But let's not keep our viewers waiting much longer. Let's get ready to reveal our divisions for the CCA League season number 6, starting out with Division 8.
And in Division 8, we always like to start with the best of the best. The best of the best, which also starts with Division 8, which is the best of Division 8, which is going to be one of these teams. So there's a lot of words I just said, but let's go ahead and get things started with our Division 8 teams. We can get that showing up for y'all real quick.
There we go. Starting out, Gator Eats Squid is going to be the listed number 1 in Division 8, along with four other teams here. Nita, feel free to talk about them.
So we've got Gator Eats Squid, and this is a team that you'll see, one of 3 Florida or University of Florida teams you're going to see. All the teams went through some restructuring, some shuffling around of players. Gator Eats Squid is going to be one of these products. We're going to move on to Crawtator and Naders. A notable addition to their team is going to be Ping, who is going to be a coach for Liars. So there's definitely lots of experience going into this team, which for a team full of newer players, it's definitely something to look forward to. The Blind Salamander artists from Texas State University, and by the way, Crawtator and Naders coming in from Louisiana Lafayette, but the Blind Salamander artists have a former Ohio State player in Andriel coming in for them. Hendrix Orange Inc., another new team heading into the CCA League, and last but most certainly not least, the Long Island University Sharks, another team full of newer players ready and willing and ready to get themselves into the mix.
Gorgeous way to start out Group 1 with Division 8. Let's roll over to Group number 2, starting out with the Tentacoolers and technical difficulties to lead the way here, followed by the Squidiots, Beluga Guga, and EA UCD Platoon Blue out of UC Davis.
Right, there is a lot of newer faces you'll see here, especially Beluga Guga, which is another team from Washington State University. Technical difficulties is a team you may have seen actually hanging around the CCA League, especially around the entrance exam. And no, just the entrance exam. I am already bumbling over my words, but they did have a few notable results in the entrance exam. Most notably, 2-1 against Gator Eats Squid, another team in their division, so they've already got lots of experience under their name. Like you said, Squid Idiots is going to be another team. We have a lot of California teams you're going to notice throughout this presentation. Squid Idiots is no different. They're from UC Santa Cruz. We still got the Tentacoolers coming in, which is actually going to be a spin-off. Which is also going to be from Cal Poly Pomona, which you'll see another Cal Poly team heading away later on, but they are placed 27th overall in the CCA circuit. And then we've got EA UCD Splatoon Blue, another UC Davis team, like you mentioned.
A really strong way to start out. A lot of experience here, especially towards the top end of Division 8. And let's continue on going to our next group number 3, starting with Gloop Guild to lead us off, followed by It's As Shrimple As That, Catfished, NCCS Little Llamas, DSU Spotlight, and MRRT.
First off, shoutouts to MRRT for having one of the simplest yet most adorable logos. A newer team, actually, from a more recognizable name in Purdue University. the NCCS Little Llamas, and actually a team that is starting to make waves with results of their own around the CCA loops. Catfish, a newer team from Sam Houston State University, one of many Texas teams you'll see later on. And then, of course, we've got Gloop Guild, Shrimple as that, and DSU Spotlight, some newer teams looking to add on to their respective esports organizations with some action in the CCA League.
And you say adding on as well, that just means we are going to have more teams from these same universities, a little bit of JV varsity type of feeling here, especially down in Division 8, where you usually have those back end teams to try to show off their strength as newer players and teams combined. So moving on to group number 4, starting with Jelly Nose Calamari, Rising Moon to lead off the pack, followed by Fire Lemonade, Tentacle Titan, USF White, and Plattsburgh Cardinals.
So those last two teams you mentioned are newer teams as well. USF is also going to be one of those names you see later on, and you're also going to see why Florida might just be the next Splatoon state. But out of the gate, we've got Rising Moon from Purdue Fort Wayne. That is going to be a newer team, not necessarily from Purdue University. Just I guess you could call it a spin-off off them. They did have a few results in lower level tournaments outside of the CCA, second in bronze in Shark Tank number 1. And we've got Fire Lemonade, a new addition from the University of Texas system. You're going to see UT Austin and UT Dallas later on, but Fire Lemonade is from UT Rio Grande Valley, which, by the way, I should point out the logo. That is a fantastic logo.
Don't even joke, lad.
Don't even joke, lad.
You can't even joke. Like they're telling us not to. But back to Rising Moon, Purdue Fort Wayne. That is a satellite campus of Purdue University. Mm-hmm. So you have that main campus and then a satellite, which does have, on average, if I have my information correct, a lower population. So grabbing a team out of that definitely shows a lot of strength in the general Purdue system.
Absolutely. That we're going to see a few more teams in Division 7 because we have 2 more groups to cover we're actually going to move on to Division 7. This is all we've got from Division 8. Can't wait to see how these teams perform later on. But to start off in Division 7, we are going to have Group 1 lead the way here. You talk about spin-offs earlier in JV varsity versions of teams. Here's going to be one of them. Onsu Gray, Ohio State University, followed by the Oklahoma Christian Eagles, New Paltz Seahawks, Auburn Orange, one of first of 3 teams from Auburn, one of many teams from DePaul here, Splat_Symphony.Wave, and then the University of Tennessee Knoxville JV team ending off Group 1.
I still love the UTK JV logo. It's so gorgeous. Like, just look at it.
Yeah, and it almost makes you wonder if it should be a PNG. No, I'm kidding.
I know there's one somewhere. I know there is one somewhere. But hey, we gotta work with what we have. These are amazing teams across the board. Have a bit more experience than those teams in Division 8 and have proved themselves to be in this general area. So let's move on a little bit towards group number 2, where we have Niner Esports coming into the CCA. I think this is a return from a while ago. I could be wrong, but I recognize this name somewhere. Followed by the Cardinal Cephalopods, Drexel Blue Splatoon, Splat Scad Gray, Octocutioners, and Splat Syndicate.
Right, and you mentioned Niner Esports being a return. They absolutely are. This is the team from University of North Carolina, Charlotte, so it's also another satellite school we're seeing here. Cardinal Cephalopods and Octocutioners, both teams that you've also seen around in recent CCA events. Cardinal Cephalopods earning some notable results. That's going to be the University of Louisville right there. Scad Gray is another addition to the Scad family of teams, more of which you'll see later on. And of course, we've got the Executioners, as I mentioned earlier, these team from the Stevens Institute of Technology. And again, more of these teams, more with, as I mentioned, these results, these are obviously going to be teams with more experience, teams that have already dipped their foot into this pool, but maybe still have a ways to go. But if there's any better place to start, it's going to be right here.
100%. Like these teams, we've seen many of them before. UTK JV Octocutioners in at least within the past year. So seeing these teams return back might have some roster changes across these lower teams because of new players rolling in and rolling up to some higher teams, but still keeping that same name, still representing their university. So moving on here to group number 3 in Division 7, MTSU Blue, followed by Ferris Splatoon. Tamu Black, Let's Get Kraken, Towson Tiger Fishies, and the UAH White Team.
So first off, Towson Tiger Fishies is going to be one of the cuter names I think I see out here. Towson Tiger Fishies was previously 3 Splatlings in a trench coat, and you might see a few of their players coming from other Towson teams, now coalescing into this smaller team, which you'll see in Division 7. Of course, we also have MTSU Blue, who actually have some members from the Skyfall team heading into Blue, but there's also some newer blood in, which is why they just have enough experience to get themselves up to Division 7. Of course, we see Ferris Platoon, Let's Get Kraken. Those are newer teams. Tamu Black as well. That's from Texas A&M. And then we got UAH White, which is actually notable for having few players in high school leagues. So this is the first example of high school leagues starting to feed into collegiate Splatoon, and we always love to see that. Love to see high schools getting involved and sending us a few more players our way, because why not? It's going to get people in here.
Exactly. Like even if you're in a high school league, like previously mentioned, you can still move up to university and play with your university team at a very strong level. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these new high school players are rolling into CCA to go up against their current and new opponents at the other universities. So moving on to group number 4, we have CSU LB Blue with the Axion Splatters to lead the way, alongside Do Leaf Sheep Dream of Sleep. That is a tongue twister of a name. Vandal Varsity, Grilled Cheese Slider, and the team with probably one of my top 3 favorite logos so far, Oil Spill.
Yeah, no, Oil Spill is a fantastic example of how well graphic design can do in making a brand for yourself. I mean, what more is there to say about Oil Spill other than boring things like results and whatnot? But Northeastern Illinois has already made a good first impression. CSU LB Blue, another team you'll see more of later on. Axion Splatter is our first example of an international team, a team outside of the United States. This one comes to us from Alberta, Canada. So, happy to see our friends are to the north here. Do Leaf Sheep Dream of Sleep? Soon enough, we're going to be seeing another team called Squid Runner. But for now, Leaf Sheep Dream of Sleep and Grilled Cheese Slider both coming from UC Santa Cruz. And then, of course, Vandal Varsity, a team from the University of Idaho.
And just looking at that group, for majority of them from that western side of North America, so it is going to be a little bit easier for them to schedule as it could have been against a team from that East Coast. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams can actually battle up against each other with working with their own time zones.
Right, and now A round off Division 7 was going to be Grilled Cheese Slider. And now that means we get to move on up to Division 6. That's right. We just now got to Division 6. Did you notice that there were now 8 divisions, by the way? We have 8 divisions, by the way. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with Division 6, which is going to be Group 1 here with Bentley Sea Strikers, the RIT Black Sea Dragons, another team from the Rochester Institute of Technology. High Tide, now from the University of Alabama, Auburn Navy, Marine Order from Kutztown, and then Total Party Kill, one of a few PSU team, or one of a few Penn State teams you're about to see. And I'm sure you know a lot about Penn State teams.
Yeah, Penn State teams has grown a little bit throughout the past few years. To say this is the fourth team for Penn State here in Division 6 with PSU Total Party Kill. You could see a few returner names like a PSU Kevin on this team, who has previously played with Blue last season in the circuit. So it's going to be interesting how a former Division 1 player is able to lead a lot of these newer players, and that can definitely go along with many of these teams down in these lower to middle divisions having a player that has played very far up and is now trying to lead a lot of new people.
Absolutely. A lot to be said about these other teams too. Kevin, by the way, a Season 1 veteran who played in the CCA League, our first ever season, worth mentioning there. Div 4 finalists from the CCA circuit is going to be Bentley Sea Strikers. They finished 5th place there. Auburn Navy went to the quarterfinals of Division 5 back in Season 4 of the CCA League. And then, of course, Law and Order, High Tide, Auburn Navy, newer teams that are starting to get themselves into the fray. Can't wait to see more of them. And can't wait to see more of Division 6 now that we're heading into Group number 2 of Division 6. Should be heading our way right here. We're going to have DePaul, sincerest form of splattery. Already another DePaul team heading our way. Unito Dartfish from the University of Denver. Farmingdale State Rams, the Geneva Suggestion. Oh man, okay, from New York. From New York. Okay, Equinox from UT Austin, one of many UT system schools we'll see here. And another SCAD team coming in from Georgia is going to be Splat Scatty Yellow.
Yeah, and many, if not all of these teams are returners as well from previous seasons. So they have experience under their belt and trying to show themselves up to see which team actually deserves to roll out towards the top of Division 6.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's move on to group number 3, where we have Ascension to Hearing. Oh boy. Stingray Incorporated with the High Tide Herps rolling back in with the Octo Jesters, C Sharp Major, and Salmon Run University.
So, Ascension to Herring, I need to tell you, makes sense. This logo makes a little sense because they were previously the Holy Snail. Now we've turned into the Holy Herring, I guess. But I like it. I like the branding now. Stingray Incorporated coming in from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. The High Tide Terps, University of Maryland here. Already a team you've also seen before hanging around, especially in the CCA circuit. We've got the Octo Jesters from the New Jersey Institute of Technology. C Sharp Major, a team, one of many teams that you're going to see from Kansas State. And Salmon Run University, a newer team coming in from Slippery Rock University.
Keeping that SRU abbreviation acronym out. What's the right word there? Abbreviation or acronym?
Acronym. I mean, it is acronym? Slippery Rock Salmon Run. Slippery Runs Salmon Rock.
Yeah, they're keeping the same letters working with it. which is very nice to see as we move over to group number 4, the last group in division number 6. ONSU White out of the Ohio State University rolling in against the Sun God Squad out of University of California, San Diego, alongside many other returners. DPU, Chicago Trans Inc. Authority with the IDC Stingrays, Crimson Calamari, and the Bob Splat.
Sun God Squad being a team we also saw last season alongside Onsu, White, Octos, and Squids United, like you said, from the Ohio State University. The D is very important, I hear. Don't tell Michigan that. TransInc Authority from DePaul, one of, I've stopped counting university or DePaul teams. IVC Stingrays, another team you may have seen actually outside of CCA. They did have a few roster changes, so be sure to look out for that. Crimson Calamari coming to us from Washington State University. And it is worth noting, TransInc Authority did previously go as Anarchy Rainbow. And last but not least, the Bob Splats coming to us from Quinnipiac University.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Quinnipiac, but hey, they're here now, and it's really just nice to see many of these new teams roll out. So, but that is done with division number 6, and let's roll over to division number 5 with one of my least favorite team names. PSU Fish.
There's only 5 fishes. What are we doing?
How many fishes do you want here, PSU? Come on, I know y'all are watching. But PSU will be joined by Push out of Purdue University, Griffink, VCU Spirality, MSU The, and UD.
So it is worth noting, Griffink appears to be a division, or sorry, Griffink from the William and Mary University, a Division 3 mainstay within seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5, now experiencing a change of scenery here. Of course, you mentioned Push, another team well known from Purdue. Then we got PSU Fish. It's going to be a joy for us commentators, I can already tell. I'm kidding. But we got VCU Spirality, another team from Virginia Commonwealth. MSU, Michigan State, having some bit of representation here with the. And I swear, okay, first time looking at this presentation, I thought there was more than just the, and that the text box is small, gone small, but they're just the. And last but not least, UD from the one and only University of Delaware.
Ooh, very interesting. Catching many of these unique schools per se, and. Let's just move on to group number 2 with Cut the Hook leading the way, followed by SSU Esports, UAH Blue, Nautical, Titans of Alterna Blue, and Splatoon Gold.
Splatoon Gold is going to be one of the teams. Watch out! But I'm going to tell you about the rest of the teams first, because Cut the Hook speaks out to me. They're a team from the University of Houston. Certainly not the last time you'll hear Houston, but they were into CCA circuit, showed up to Division 3 top cut, advanced to the finals, but they only showed up to day 1. Then we got SSU Esports, UAH Blue, another team from UAH that we actually saw. Nautical, a team you've definitely heard of before, especially last season. That's going to be Northern Arizona. Titans of Alterna, a team you will absolutely see again. And one of CCA's favorite colors here, Splatoon Gold, another team coming to us from the Missouri University of Science and Technology.
So you're saying that the social media post that our lovely social media manager put out is wrong? We don't have a group gold?
Unfortunately not, because turns out there's also a lot of blue. And it turns out there's also a lot of, I don't know, we're actually going to find out. There's a lot of funny names, I'll tell you that much. If you want proof, go look at Group 1.
Or we could just look at this next upcoming group in group number 3, starting
Oh
out with
gosh.
the XX Shadow Warriors XX. They were the number 1 seed heading into Division 4 finals in the circuit last season in the fall. The NCCS Splat Llamas, the varsity team, over the NCCS Little Llamas that we talked about earlier. Clark Koi, Shrimp That Fry Rice, Bobble Hat Gang, and Stew.
Now these are going to be teams that you've definitely seen before. Now that we're moving up into divisions, you're going to see teams that are a little more experienced than you might have seen before. More notably, going to be NCCS Splat Llamas, the CCA Circuit Div 4 champion. It is worth noting that we do have this champion, and we also have Clark Koi, Shrimp to Fried Rice, Bowhat Gang, and Stew. All of these teams you have seen before, and Group 4 is going to be no different because we're going to move on to see Grisco Gators. Another time you'll hear University of Florida. The Corsairs coming in from Dartmouth. Drexel Gold, another team from Drexel, the Wave Riders. CSU DH Gold, Domingo Hills, and TAMU White, another team coming in from Texas A&M University. By the way, doing great here. But Wave Riders, another team coming in from the Cal Poly Pomona family of teams.
Yeah, another California matchup in this group. California State University, Dominguez Hills going against Cal Poly Pomona with the Wave Riders. And just in general, there is a lot of Cal State teams rolling in, and seeing Dominguez Hills show up is really nice to watch as we roll over to Division number 4, where we do have many returning faces here as well.
Absolutely. Division 4, we are almost halfway there, and we have arguably one of the more notable teams starting us off in Division 4. In Group 1, we are going to have the Goomies, another team from Virginia Commonwealth University, a team notable for selling pairs of shorts. Stevens Institute of Technology coming in with Executioners, their top team in Division 4. Terminal, Illinois as well. Champlain Cerulean, a team that has started to... There's a slight rise here, which is why you're going to see them competing against notable names like the Goomies, like Executioners, like Enter Salmon from Virginia Tech, and as well as another notable team that is making their way up, Turnpike from the New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Yeah, many of these teams you've seen them before. You're going to see them again, and this time in Division 4, Group 1. So just as a reminder for everyone, divisions are based on what is sent to the seating staff. If you don't like it, just win your division. So with that being said, let's move on to group number 2. Yukon Siberian Squids going to lead their way forward, followed by RIT Orange Kois, USF Green, KSU Wild Sharks, the Tax Collectors, and another of the Splat Scad teams, this time with Splat Scad Orange.
KSU Wild Sharks, a Division 3 team from Kansas State. Another team will be showing up in Division 4, which again, like you mentioned, seems like a bit of a downgrade, but you gotta remember, we're only halfway here, which means we're only getting higher from here. We had to squeeze all of these teams in somewhere, so Division 4 by no means is it any lower than where you previously were. If anything, this means we get to have closer matchups with teams that are closer in skill level to one another than ever before, especially with how many teams we have signed up for the season. Remember, this is a record high we have here. So UConn, of course, Connecticut in here, RIT, Rochester Institute, another team, and certainly not the last here, USF Green, South Florida starting to come in with their best here, and by far the most notable, at least to the audience, and honestly to me as well, the Tax Collectors, which I mean, it is nearly tax season, so the University of Arizona is sending their finest to collect our taxes.
But be careful. Don't let them chase after you too quickly. As as let's get a little bit moving forward into group number 3 with BSU Grizz Taco leading the way, followed by UNM Esports out of University of New Mexico, A State Black joining another PSU team in the PSU Goobers with Coyotes Black and UCSD Esports Navy.
UCSD going to be one of the notable names from California. This is the San Diego school, and definitely not the last time you see UCSD. But moving on to all of the rest of these teams, BSU Grizz Taco is a team that actually showed up in Season 4 under the same division. So another return to Division 4 for Grizz Taco. University of New Mexico making an appearance with their esports team. A State Black coming in from Arkansas State. Like you mentioned, PSU, another Penn State team, this time with certainly one of the better logos I've seen today. I mean, this is Reese Slider with the Goofy Goober from the SpongeBob movie. So this is already off to a good start. And then, of course, we have Coyotes Black coming in from California State, San Bernardino. So already a team, and this is also a team with major departures in them as well. So we're going to see how this new roster can do in Division 4 in their group.
Yeah, like we're getting to that area of you're having a lot of departures, but you're also having a lot of success. So do you really know where you really should be at this point? Many teams have moved up, many teams have moved down. So let's continue forward with the final group number 4 in Division 4. CSU LB Black out of California State University, Long Beach, followed by Are You Ready? I certainly am, especially with WPI Barry, HSK Gold, the Blue Devils, and HLG Gold.
And the cool part about Are You Ready is that they have already been with these teams. They beat USF White 2-0 in the entrance exam, as well as beat Blue Devils 2-1. So they already have Division 4 experience, and they have pretty good Division 4 experience on their side. Huskies Splitsville Knights is actually a team you saw in Division 2 last season, making their way to Division 4 here alongside WPI Barry. Not the last time you'll see WPI. You definitely see a theme here with these names, and certainly it's going to be followed with CSULB Black and HLG Gold, both offshoots of teams you will be seeing much later. And by much later, I actually mean next division.
Yeah, and with the next division coming up really quickly here, UCF Knights Academy is going to make their way into Division 3 this time around with the UTK Feeders, Golden Barracudas, RIT White Prawns, MTSU Skyfall, alongside Fanshawe Fuel.
So this is Division 3, and this is when we start to notice teams that are these are now teams that are definitely going to be on the higher end of the skill tree that we're seeing here in the CCA. This is when we start to get teams that can show up anywhere and start messing things up for people in higher divisions. Going to start completely clearing people in lower divisions out of the way. This is when we start to get to the nitty gritty. And UCF Knights Academy is no different. This is a team that's been catching our attention ever since the CCA entrance exam, actually. UTK Feeders, no different. They have Koreki on their side, a player from Sub Power Up. Golden Barracuda is a team from Kutztown, one of their best so far. White Prawns from the Rochester Institute of Technology. Fanshawe Fuel is going to be one of the interesting stories of Division 3 because of their newest addition, Genie. Genie is going to be another player from the world of competitive Splatoon, from now joining Fanshawe College, already has lots of experience on their back. So them followed up with MTSU Skyfall, another team that has it has that similar story here. A player named Episto that already has experience winning Minnow Cup, actually.
Very, very strong individual players trying to lead their teams forward. And this is no joke either. Having Genie, having another strong player from MTSU Skyfall on their roster, that's when you start to see a difference in skill gap. Who can help lead that team, and are these players able to lead those teams to a Division 3 victory? As we move forward to group number 2, CSU LB Gold. I'm pretty sure this is the varsity team for California State University Long Beach, with the Titans of Alterna out of California State University Fullerton for that Cal State matchup with Crab and Go, UGA Black, Volatile Radiance, and Oklahoma.
UGA Black gonna be the story of Division 3. The University of Georgia now, they are starting to become the surprise of CCA so far, making a meteoric rise during the CCA entrance exam number 5, earning them a rightful spot here in Division 3 among names you are going to recognize very well here. Volatile Radiance from Hofstra, a team that actually showed up to CCA circuit first time there. They were a Division 1 team. Oklahoma as well. They were a Division 1 team early in Division 2 as well. And now they're making their way to Division 3. So UJ Black in very good company here alongside CSULB Gold and the University of Houston. Like you mentioned, Titans of Alterna from Fullerton. Very good space for UGA to be. They're the story of CCA right now. And before I forget, Fanshawe Fuel is another Canada university Canada college coming in from London, Ontario. But Division 3 is going to be notable because this is where we start to get the smaller divisions. And when I mean smaller divisions, I say there's only one group left.
Yeah, in all the other divisions, we've had 24 teams, 22 in division number 8. We are in group 3, or division 3, group 3, with only 18 teams moving forward here. We aquatic little creatures will lead our way out of Purdue University. HLG Blue rolling out of University of California Riverside with the Mississippi State Sea Dogs, WPI Kenza Grisco Workers Union, Kareem's Corn, and DPU Chicago Squidhole.
Go Big Freaking Red! I love it. That's the University of Nebraska that I know and love, and that's the team that I'm going to be leading myself, actually, into Division 3, alongside a few other teams, and most notably going to be Mississippi State Sea Dogs, another team that impressed at the CCA entrance exam, along with some notable names such as Chicago Squidhole, one of about 5,000 DePaul teams. We Aquatic Little Creatures, another team from Purdue, one of the most notable ones, one of the most recognizable, and then of course HLG Blue, another team making waves appropriate with the logo they've got right there. So this is going to be the last of Division 3, and certainly the best of Division 3 alongside all the other teams that we have already covered. Division 3 looking mightier than ever. This is going to be one of the more exciting Div 3 teams we have seen yet. Or Division 3s we've seen yet.
Yeah, and you say mightier than ever. That's just showing how strong these upcoming teams are as well. So let's go over into division number 2 with Banana Split out of UC Davis leading the way with a Daybreak, HSK Violet, Tamu Maroon, the H-Town Rebels, and Egg Spaghetti.
Group 1 of Division 2. Division 2, and I guess if you want to talk in CCA Season 5 terms, this is what I would call the Division 1.5 because of just how much star power we have here. I'm already looking at Daybreak. I'm already looking at Texas A&M Maroon, Husky Splatzel Knights from Washington, Banana Split, Egg Spaghetti being the story of Division 2 and their own meteoric rise as well. I mean, we saw them in Pop Quiz number 2, Pop quiz number 2, and they absolutely destroyed their group, doing so well there that we said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and give them a shot here in Division 2 from UC Berkeley. Lots of lots of California teams here. Of course, H-Town Rebels also notable for having their own roster changes, a notable departure in Dio, but still able to hold together to get themselves Division 2. What a group we have here. My goodness.
Yeah, this is a very strong group of its own. You have your 3 Texas teams in H-Town, Tamoon Maroon, and Daybreak, with your West Coast teams of Egg Spaghetti, HSK Violet, and Banana Split. So you're going to have a very tight rivalry between your own coastline team.
And that is going to be enough to lead us on to group number 2. And there's going to be some newer names you see here, most notably Smash Brothers coming in from... Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm going to actually look this up because I need to make sure I say this right. Binghamton University. Binghamton University. I got it right. But Red Embers coming to us from Illinois. Towson Tiger Sharks coming to us from, well, Towson. Surging C coming in from UNC Greensboro. Greensboro making a return here. Danger and Friends. That logo is recognizable. If you know it, you know, and if you don't, that is the University of Texas at Dallas making their first appearance. And last but not, most certainly not least, EA UCD Davis White, another team on a rise of their own. Similar story to Egg Spaghetti here, impressing us with their latest results so much that we say, you know what, it's time we push all in with the big guns.
Yeah, and we're also not saying that these teams are bad either. They are in that second tier caliber level in comparison to our Division 1 teams as well. So they are strong in their own right with amazing matchups looking forward. As we roll over to group number 3, another new face showing up in Cal Poly Esport with the Reef Runners, Splat Black, ONSU Scarlet, Cosmic Eternity, and the California Rollers.
This is where we start to see the inkling of the idea that Florida might just be a Splatoon state. Cosmic Eternity coming in from Florida State University. Another story similar to what we saw in Egg Spaghetti, similar to what we saw in UCD White. This is a team that's been on the rise, and it's only appropriate that we put them up against 2 Cal Poly teams, one of them being Cal Poly Esports and Cal Poly Pomona, coming in with Reef Runners, another notable team. Splat Black was the story of Division 2 last year with how much they impressed alongside of Splatlanders, and Scad rightfully earning a return to Division 2 alongside ONSU Scarlet, the last and the best team from the Ohio State University, coming in at Division 2 yet again. And both of those teams impressed us so well, especially Scarlet, with what they were able to achieve in recent memory, that Division 2 was only perfect for.
I am excited to see the matchup between Cal Poly Esports and the Reef Runners. They are both Cal Poly schools. We talked about Reef Runners being from Cal Poly Pomona, and Cal Poly Esports making a show from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, brand new universe into the CCA.
And with that, we have saved the best for last. That's right. It is time for the one and only Division 1, which will now have 12 teams. That's right. We saved 12 spots for the 12 best that CCA had to find. And that 12 best is going to be started off with Group 1 of Division 1. That is my co-hoster here, the Vapors team, PSU Blue, and the fantastic Comic Sans logo. UCSD Sports Gold, the San Diego team making waves just as much as their basketball team is, apparently. USF Gold from South Florida. UCF Knights from Central Florida. Old Bay Brigade, a CCA Circuit Div 1 winner from the University of Maryland College Park, and the Drexel Dragons, one of many Drexel teams and by far one of their best.
Yeah, we are in the territory of the best the CCA has to offer. And this is a very strong lineup to start out with. But Group 2 is very strong in its own right as well, starting out with the VCU, Big Fat Cows, to lead off a Group 2 with University of Florida Death Roll following right behind them. Ark Haley to follow up with Central Michigan, another new team into the CCA with the GMU Patriots and the Splatlanders.
I mean, I mentioned Splatlanders earlier. Here they are. It's your time to shine. We're putting you in Division 1. And it's almost appropriate that we put them alongside Big Fat Sea Cows, Death Roll, the surprise of the season so far with how they did in entrance exam. Ark Haley, of course, being no different with the recent additions they made, adding some incredible firepower to their lineup in terms of Division 2 B2-1 players. I mean, this is a team that all of a sudden all eyes are going to be on. George Mason University being proven to be one of the solid Division 1 teams, but the biggest surprise of them all is going to be in Central Michigan, a team that we actually hadn't seen before, but with adding a Division 3 player from Ludi and a Division 4 player from Ludi as well, and Sigdakari and a Walk from Division 3, it's only appropriate that with that alone, we put him into Division 1 because this is the division we have saved for the best of the best. I mean, Splatlanders deserves to be here. Central Michigan already looking very strong. Division 1 is 25% Florida teams. Actually, 30%. Wait. I'm making my numbers. 25%. This is why I'm majoring in sports media and not math. But Florida State, Florida is starting to become a platoon state, but there's also 9 other teams with histories of their own that are looking to make Division 1 the most hotly contested division.
Yeah, all of these teams have proven themselves to be a few of the best the CCA has to offer, and they have definitely showed it in their own right. PSD Blue adding, I am joining back onto that roster as I didn't play with them during the circuit. UCSD Esports Gold returning back in, followed by the circuit winners of VCU Big Fat Sea Cows and Death Roll, adding a few strong players of their own right as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at, and I know this is the term group of death is a term you see a lot in group stages, but Division 1 is, in my opinion, going to be one of the most hotly contested divisions, just with the amount of teams we have and the fact that any of these teams could go on a break for it and completely destroy and annihilate some of these other teams here. Group 2 is going to be the most interesting because we have a team that hasn't shown up in CCA before but has shown up everywhere else. Splatlanders being the underdog story of the season. I mean, can we even call them an underdog? They're in Division 1. Is it really an underdog? This is more like the hunted becoming a hunter now. Ark Haley, Big Fat Sea Cows, Death Roll. Ark Haley being one of those teams alongside UCSD Gold and PSU Blue that have been around since the dawn of the CCA League. It's only appropriate they stay at the top of the pool. I mean, Div 1 is going to be one for the ages this season.
Yeah, that's all you can really say about it. It's going to be a very tight Division 1 this season. Any one of these teams, when they have the time, if they have that opportunity, they will take that opportunity, and all of them will have a chance at the gold.
Oh, absolutely. And that is not to say everything, and that is not without saying everything we've seen from all the other divisions. I mean, there are some that, just looking at it now, is going to be ones you hear about for the rest of the season. But it's all to say that with the record attendance in the CCA league, anything can happen, anything can go, and the only way to know what happens is to just be there to watch. We're gonna have streams all throughout the season. We're gonna have matches all throughout the season. We're gonna have everything for y'all to enjoy here, CCA league wise. And I don't know what else to say. Season 6 is looking to be one for the history books.
Yeah, this is going to be a crazy season to look up to. But with all the divisions covered, all 166 teams in the CCA league, eight divisions, all teams and this has been announced.
Oh, dang it. There we go. This is why I major in sports media and not math.
Right around the corner, the map list will be posted at some point by the end of the day, so keep an eye out for that looking forward. But yeah, is there anything you want to add on?
I mean, this is the biggest season, the most divisions we've ever had. I do like to point out that these divisions don't mean much compared to previous seasons just because of the sheer number. As a member of the seeding staff, it's worth noting that there were just so many teams and so many close matches put against one another. Sometimes literal matches that we've seen in previous events to where we had to make two more divisions just to fit everybody in. And so what I want to tell people is not to worry about where you were placed, but know that these divisions are made so that we can get y'all closer matches. And just by talking about these teams alone, I didn't realize how close of a how close of a league we were going to have until I started going through some of these teams. Y'all, this is going to be, I say it, I know, and I hate to quote like I'm a pundit here, but this is going to be a season worth remembering because of how much we're going to see from every team across the league, from Division 1 to Division 8, doesn't matter. It's going to be one for the history books.
For sure. We will be back with our CCA League Dream matchups rolling throughout this season. So keep an eye out here on the CCA channels for all upcoming matchups. Thank you to all of the CCA staff behind the scenes working with seeding, Omazen on production. Neato, take it away.
Oh, I was looking because I'm pretty sure I was on the seating. Yes, I was. And I'm also on CCA staff, so I guess it makes sense. But with all that out of the way, can't wait to see what happens. But that's going to be it for us for now. We thank you for joining us for this division reveal show. It is going to be one to remember, but if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Blue Sky at neatounused.bsky.social, Twitch at neatounused for the rare occasion that I do stream, and if you happen to be at Nebraska, you can probably see me walking around campus because I don't want to do my homework. That's crazy. I'm preparing for the CCA League. I'm also procrastinating. Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on pretty much any social media at V4P0R_SPL. Thank you once again to Omazen on production. And from the CCA, we thank you for watching the reveal show. Have a good night, everyone.